kakase bananga ema bwayo omwakanisuwo kuluhamba lwe babasaba era mu studio indi umucheni kuno kumundu kunyowa kuboneka kuluhamba lwe basaba werukosi Amanya Samuel. Nkosi Amanya Samuel ali chief warden wa Mount Elgon Conservation Area era sifa shino shirimo bifa bikali kyesinyero sira kubanga lolera mumulimo nishisali chefe shano shamasaba Mount Elgon National Park ulimo aisibasa lebefe bakeni ya sifa shirimo bisoro birayebusa piani upe wildlife sifa sita ikahoyo sha milia busa sirimo buli shisholo chesu ikoma kubanga nubona ate abani Mathaniko Wildlife Reservation Center atwani Bukora Wildlife Reservation Center nebino byosi tsana cheso ndino sira kubanga kumadira mo kamani ishefe sha masaba shisali sha Mount Elgon isi okuro sira kubanga ne kufuna kama ya kama kalika hobusa ni basale befe bamenye simbi ni shisali alenga yetirari etiri kunyerisiye kubanga kureba na birebo bikali ni okwira namo byesi nawo oli okubanga numanya kyesisiye kulomba ukorekerese bulafuyo please ishana simili na kalondo kunyerisiye kubona kuri kuyiga tiro motsinga rusa angulobe eshero anano era bakali bulafuya birosira kubanga libani yaka bale makire ebyo semanyi binano ne isira indi kwetire kunyerisiye kubona kuri kubikanikira atwera era mukutakumba lembuka without wasting any more second I want to welcome you Afanda Amanya. Say hi to my listener.
Thank you very much our presenter the host of this show and good evening all our listeners out there. Yes, my name is Samuel Amanya and I'm the chief warden from Mount Elgon Conservation Area. It's a great privilege to be here for the first time.
I was actually telling them that this is your first time appearing on Elgon FM.
Sure.
And I hope it's not the last time. We shall be engaging.
I look forward to many more times to be here with you.
So for all the time you've been here, you've not mastered the basics, the keywords for greeting the our listeners there.
Maybe I'm not getting a good teachers.
The first thing I told you was to learn the basics. But nonetheless, I welcome you on the way airwaves of Elgon FM. For starters, I want my listeners to know who is Mr. Amanya Samuel.
Yes, Samuel Amanya is the new chief warden for this Mount Elgon Conservation Area, which includes the areas you just mentioned, but most particularly our mountain here, the Bamasaba.
Yes.
And I'm always happy to be associated with this mountain, by the way.
Thank you.
Though I'm here just 6 months old, I've been in conservation for quite a while. I'm in my 23rd year. I've been in very many parts of the country conserving wildlife with the people of Uganda, experiencing different situations, scenarios, working in different communities. And yes, I'm a pure conservationist. I'm a scientist in conservation. And for many of the years I've worked in conservation, I've had at least more than 10 working as a community conservation officer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So umasaba korekere mkosa Amanya ero sira kubanga yandu na first of all ne kutegere bula yingudi sukutsa kubanga kungaera moni naye era nyo sukubuka kubanga akulira Mount Elgon Conservation Area ngana makolo sira kubanga na shikana ha nyo na kwalira mano bifa bikali ne yanyo ne kubanga kwanjulira kimya kabiri usatu nga aramba kimini mojewe na ne bugisu kuno kumwezi kwe hasesa kubona ndi kunyalisa kubanga ne kurambira atwera. Maybe for starters more details about Mount Elgon Conservation Area.
Mount Elgon Conservation Area is an area that contains about 4 protected areas. But for Mount Elgon,
I want you to pull that microphone.
But for Mount Elgon,
yes,
it is an area which is over 1,000 square kilometers, spanning about 80 kilometers, just straight away distance from one end to another, longest, spanning within 8 districts of Uganda, including Bulambuli, Duda, Mbare, Sironko, then Kapchorwa, Queen, and Buko, and they share the park. Up to inside, every part of the park is shared by each of those districts.
Yes.
Of course, the park is known largely for its services, ecosystem services it offers to the people of this region and the people of Kenya. All the rivers hundreds of rivers that you see in all these districts I've just mentioned, they originate or their source is from the mountain. There's a number of gravitational water schemes where most of these communities get water for domestic use.
Yes.
Animals and all get water from the mountain. If today that mountain dried off, more than 80% of the people in this region would migrate because you would just see the desert.
Yes.
No rain. Of course, a number of animals in the national park. The scenery itself is good and it attracts tourists. We have a number of tourists who travel from across the world.
Yes.
Coming just to go high up at a distance, at a height of 4,321 meters above sea level.
Yes.
Just enjoy that height. It's very cold up there. And once we reach there, we have what we call a caldera.
Okay.
A caldera is an open area, flat, 40 square kilometers. Imagine like moving 40 kilometers from here up to the... Moving 40 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide.
Okay.
That's how it is. Up there, just flat grass. And people enjoy that caldera because it's the largest in the whole world. You will not find it anywhere. And because of its importance to the people surrounding it, and the region, and the country, and the world, in view of its of our current challenges of climate change,
yes,
it has been classified as a UNESCO Man and Biosphere Reserve. We have very few sites in Uganda, actually it's this and the Queen Elizabeth National Park, where a Man and Biosphere Reserve, it means you conserve that park or that protected area for purposes of supporting the communities that surround it.
Okay.
In other words, communities cannot live without it, and it cannot also survive without the communities.
So you want to inform my listener that park is the source of livelihood to so many people.
Definitely, if you see all these Irish potatoes that we see in the markets, you see matoke surrounding, the good soils that you see around this the volcanic mountain, all that, it comes from these places because we have Mount Elgon around us. You decimate it, you just get your life worse. The livelihood will all be decimated.
So I want that to give us the foundation for our next question for discussion. Why should we help you in conserving the national park?
Ordinarily, it's not only helping me or helping Mount Elgon management or Uganda Wildlife Authority, but simply helping ourselves, helping ourselves. The local communities and the surrounding this local government, they need to help themselves to conserve, preserve this natural resource around us. For one simple reason, as I say, that if you don't preserve it, you won't survive.
Okay.
There'll be no water to drink. There'll be no rainfall around us. There will be landslides everywhere. The few rainfall that will come will just wash away everybody away. All these water schemes would end. River Nile water would reduce. Lake Choga water would reduce. And surely nobody wants to see this happen. This conservation area was established long ago, about 100 years ago, about 90 years ago. And the forefathers at that time, during the colonial period, saw or knew its importance then, and the continued importance today.
Yes.
And they said, let's preserve it. At the beginning, of course, majority, or when it was still under the Forest Department, before Uganda Wildlife Authority came to take it up in 1996, before it was a national park in 1993, it was used for many purposes, sometimes for logging, and sometimes communities would stay in. But over time, we feared that if that use continued, that level of use continued, would reach a time when the majority of the park would be no more. And when it's no more, of course, no oxygen.
True.
Climate change would set in. Hunger, farming. Nobody wants that, of course. So let's help ourselves. We say let's help ourselves to conserve this park, because we conserve for ourselves and the future generations to come.
Thank you very much. Nakana ko kiri samsar wanyina kuba gwanzi gatleho era kulibenga bina bindi mu studio ulinwe lukosi Amanya Samuel. Of course kulanga kuroka masinanenga alini kama bare kama kaliusa neshiyo kulumu byosi zena ndiye chief warden. Kuba niyo rangirira kubalinda shisali shefe masaba we wawo tsabera kiremo tsiromo tsingali ne angulo bane kulirosera kubona ko byosi kubigira atwera wanyele bula fiyo kubona ndi horokeresa ile nyo kubona yandi imuloma anywa kubolere bika ne busali shefe shesa akolere bula yika hobusa wakunyumira nga shisali shefe sinye shifuruza kuba shirai musibala shiro sizina ngaro bari bake ni betsano kukana kubona ingeri yesi shirimo n'ingeri si baba nga nibashikholamo era mukolosera kubanga kunyonyola arishisa arishife masaba bake na betsa kusaba bali bakalika khobusa namureba kholo muye khoshitikia isamo kubanga khwa kimigasa ari chimikali sisa arishiba lesuba kho yetaba uwata kubona bari sigasa nibo tasigasa khofurisewe kubanga bari sharrawo umanyori nafwebulamu abandu bali nsa bisinza kama kumusanvu kusimya bulamu babwaweleo bankamitsi kama musali nekeza nafezo kwabanga kukarambisa amakolosera kubanga romare ashisali sho stikia lilo kubanga nilichenda isi mulitira yonabi umanyori kubanga ni kukosa era amakolosera kubanga abala kimigaso kimikaleka kahobusa kesi fesi kolosera kubanga ni kusima era romari districts munana ndetse zibotora dasisa shefe masaba shesi niye nibashe niyo rangirira bashe ababanga balinda sisali sino uriyo anyerando ku kalibisa ku bagore ho manyore kumbuke inafuruse na kuwewe uhorekereza irene kanari ingabe ku ibasa de lefe bari sibini sali ngenaba babi bafulinga biye kukaneka n'umuhuro urangirira abona bo bari shimbini ababanga balinda sisali ne kunyarise kukaneka tsiro motsi ngali seri saita kumbuka nga yero sira kuba nga niyola ila awenika kubusa oni yesi nabagiye kuwele ngabi ne kube nga ne kukenda. Afana Amanya, I would like to know, there is an ongoing operation. Can you highlight what exactly is going on?
Recently, using the satellite imagery, it was discovered that about 50 square kilometers could be encroached. 50 square kilometers of the park could be under cultivation in all the 8 districts. Of course, that is threatening the ecosystem and the services it provides. So recently,
how many were the kilometers? 50?
Estimated to be about 50 square kilometers to be under encroachment. Of course, at that trend, if our generation alone can encroach 50 square kilometers and the trend continues, it means probably 50 years from now, you'll have 50% of the park gone, of the forest gone, as well as its services. So we've embarked at the process of ensuring that we stop that.
The encroachment.
That we stop the encroachment from expanding. And we work with the existing encroachers, or those communities that find life there and livelihood, who grow crops. We find a way of working with them to restore those areas that have been encroached. So we set up teams and they have been moving in each district for the last 1 month, but they moved there after we held a meeting with the stakeholders, the district leaders, the RDCs, DPCs, CIDs, LC5, whom we invited on the 6th of December and held a meeting at our headquarters, at our Mount Elgon headquarters offices here in Mbale. And we informed them of what we'll do. So from there, the teams have been on the ground. We finished Bududa, we finished Seronko, we finished Kwen, we finished Kapchorwa. Yes, we are now going to, we have partly finished Mbale, halfway. We are now in Namisindwa, as well as going to Boko.
So what exactly is happening?
So our forces or our rangers move on ground and they ask anybody who has a garden there to report at his garden, but report with a letter from LC1 confirming that you're a resident of that area.
Yes.
Once you come with the letters, we also take your particulars.
Yes.
Your name, your address, your LC, your sub-county, then the garden, the size of the garden, what you are growing. Then, of course, we ask you when you will be harvesting.
Yes.
And then the reason is we give you that time to finish or to do your harvest. But after that, we don't expect you to continue digging. Ordinarily, we would be arresting you, would be slashing your garden, but that's not what we've come to do. We say these communities have gotten loans, the parish development model money,
and they have invested in those
lands. They have invested.
Yes.
So we do feel for them, and we know a season doesn't take a long time, so we can give them a chance. But who are they? Because in the future, if we want to make any intervention, we have to do it with the people. But you need to know who they are. So that right now we are doing the registration of all those farmers or encroachers who are found within the national park. Now, what happens if a farmer refuses to come? Now, if the 3 farmers around one garden have come and have registered, and one has not come, so it means he's not interested to cooperate. He or she is not interested to cooperate. And sometimes our rangers can be forced or can be pushed to remove that garden, to slash it. But those who turn up, we don't. Now, we've collected a huge amounts of data, which shows the people that we'll probably be working with to restore those places, to restore those gardens. You must be aware.
Maybe before the findings, I would like my dear listener to get it clear that the operation is not intended and in cutting down the crops. Right?
Not at all. That's not our target. That's not our focus. We are there to register. We are there to register the encroachers.
But have your field officers cut any?
Yes, they have cut any. Those farmers, those encroachers who have refused to come.
So the key word is compliance.
Compliance is what we are looking for. Because if you don't want us to know you, you don't want to know us, you don't want to negotiate with us, you don't want to respond to a pen and a paper and words, what else do you want?
So the issue is when rangers come, you have to comply. Come, they should identify you.
Yes, it's to identify the persons who are currently surviving on the land, surviving in the park.
To know that Emma is the one using Elgon FM studio.
Yes. Okay. You know, eventually, if the government or UWA is to plan for anything to benefit the people, to support conservation, you have to know the vulnerable communities that are surrounding you. It's normal for all government programs to first take baseline, to know the population, to know the households, such that they can design intervention. Now, you must have heard in some other conservation areas, we have associations such as encroachers program, who are being supported by a number of development partners or NGOs we work with.
So here they have not organized themselves?
They have not organized because we don't know them. Encroachers, like when you go to Wenzori, Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is also a mountain, you'll find a number of associations. And those associations are being supported by tailoring machines. They're being supported with improved seeds, with the loans, with many other things that help the communities to grow.
Okay.
But they have to be known. Who are those that are vulnerable?
Thank you. Shortly, inahakana yohorekereza bali simbiyo kwa nishisali. Oyo kosi Amanya ali kubanga mari nibo kukyenda kuno sibetira kure mabiro byota ahali siro kubanga nishibarera kubona bari betse bakumanyi just kukumanya omwino weruseyo nga betsika kumukunda itsa uyikanaho nga bamalire sibonare makobiro byota bari biro byose bari kubanga barema wewe nga betsire bakutabuleko watimire sukokana kuboneka wambasone gwatire bana kuwamba era siyese namo musibira hamuro mari sibetira ko kuwamba omundu yesizanata bawo muri sibetire kubanga wali mahozane benga bakuwamba so bawo shikira wabanga nuria ahalo melodi ni kwerusayo bali wiyanjure isi basi nakale ba uwa abatire then mwanyiriza kubanga ni muchendera atwera sikiro bona kubanga ni kurebe na bikalika kahobusa nakunyalise kubanga nakutegeera wanyala ibula fyo kubanga horikere singa na kuwenga bino birosira kubanga kubikata hawe na olobinga okuwa shitufu ishiri ibula fuka hoyo. But I find they have cut a lot of crops, by the way.
But I also have a record of the gardens that have been saved.
And you are giving me the figures, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
Like in Bududa, I know 444 farmers or encroachers who have come to Jester. Nobody has touched their garden.
444.
444. In Isironko, 240. In Queen, 324. In Kapchorwa, 50.
How many in Isironko?
Isironko, it is there are 240. In Queen, 234. Kapchorwa, 56. Mbale, we've so far covered 51. The Mbale encroachers are a little bit defiant, I must confess. They actually went there for the first time.
Yes.
They were a little bit defiant, a little bit difficult. We said, let's withdraw. We are an organization that wants peace. Let's withdraw.
Which part of Mbale?
Busano.
Yes.
That's where we started. And I think the encounter was not good. Yes, we have force. We are trained to put some force and some pressure.
Yes.
But we choose to negotiate. We choose to explain. We choose to sensitize if you fail. So, I see Nanisiba so far we have registered 34. See Buko, we are there also. Blamburi, yes, we are yet to cover Blamburi, yes. The Namisindwa, yes.
Okay.
So all those, their gardens have been saved. We have their names. We have their national ID.
So we have data. This is the data you've so far collected.
Yes, I would say maybe about 5% of the gardens where we've been are the ones that have been slashed. But those were defiant encroachers.
So you only slash when the owner doesn't appear for profiling.
Exactly. When they don't come for profiling. You know, at the end, like we are getting an agreement with you. Instead of running after you every now and then, let's know each other. Let's have an agreement. Have you heard of a program called Taunja?
Yes.
Where someone is given a chance to cultivate in a forest for about 3, 4, or 5 years. But where someone is cultivating, we've planted there, or he or she plants there natural trees that grows. So by the time they are 5 years, they have already grown and covered.
Okay.
But you can't do that unless you know the people who need it. And at this stage, I think those communities, those farmers, those encroachers who are there are the ones that would need it. But you can't design that. The government cannot approve such a program before you know who is there to work with. But there are some communities where they have probably misunderstood it. And they thought maybe we are collecting this information for the bad cause.
Yes.
Yes, if we were bad, we would have our slashers. We go and we cut off the crops because they are in a national park. They are in the wrong place. They are considered invasives. They cut down the services the mountain is offering. But we say we chose not to do that. So we urge all leaders to understand and appreciate this. The forms we use are available.
Yes.
Any leader who wants, you will give the leaders my number, which is on WhatsApp.
Yes.
You send a message asking to see how these forms look like. I will send it to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe so far, how many people are surviving on land belonging to the national park? Well,
we are estimating maybe close to 5,000 who are encroachers. Close to 5,000 if you look cut across. But in terms of those who are surviving on the park legally, we are more than 15 million in the region who are surviving on the rivers that come from the park. So we can't let the 5,000 take away the benefit that is coming, continues to come to over 15 million people.
Okay, thank you. But there are cases of extortion. Have you heard of them as the chief one? Many people living near the park are accusing your field officers of extortion.
I've mentioned this before in many meetings.
That actually, if you don't give money, they are cutting crops. I
will mention this at this talk show. And as I've said before, it takes the corrupt to corrupt the corruptible. It takes someone or
Who is
an
corrupt.
encroacher who is corrupt to attempt to corrupt an officer who is corrupt. If you, the farmer, chose to say, I don't want to practice corruption, you've listened to me. For you, you go with your letter from LC1 and you stand in your garden. And the officer cuts your crops, slashes your crops, or refuses to register you. Declare yourself, come to me and tell me. I will follow. You can never get those people. The problem is one. We hear rumors say some farmers who may probably think that the purpose of collecting this data may not be good. They want to buy themselves out from registering. They want to use money to bribe my officers, my rangers, such that their gardens are saved and at the same time they are not registered. When you bring that, you are attempting an officer to commit a crime.
That's actually a corruption in itself.
Yes, they are there who are doing it. But here I'm saying, please, this registration is for free. Anybody who...
You don't have to bribe anyone.
You don't have to bribe anyone. In fact, one of the reasons we have kind of given that kind of forgiveness is that we want to remove all these issues of money. Because whenever rangers would be deployed to go and slash crops which are grown in a national park, communities here would start collecting the money.
So ideally, you're rubbishing the claims that some of your officers are asking money from farmers to save their gardens.
Every time I hear this, I plead with whoever tells me
that
can you kindly help me, give me information. I'm not even asking for evidence. I'm saying, at least tell me the officer.
You whisper to me.
Whisper, tell me the person who asked you, which day, where were they? Let me know. When you're sending them money, use at least mobile. Tap them to use a mobile. And help us to grab those guys. So at the end, of course, there could be allegations where it is not. People or someone for malicious reasons still claims that money is being collected.
Okay.
It's not true. We don't collect money. Don't give money. The registration is for free 100%.
Thank you. When are we ending the operation? You said we remain with Namisindwa?
The operation, Namisindwa and Bulambuli and Buko. Yes.
And some parts of Bali, because Bali...
and some parts of Bali, we are still to come. We are still coming. We hope we will get cooperation from leaders. They should ask other districts where we have been, what they have experienced.
And in fact, they've been clear, that the intention is very clear. It serves, it actually helps the farm. All
those names I've read for you, I mean the numbers I've read for you, those are farmers whose gardens have been saved. So what do you want? Do you want the garden to be saved or to be slashed? But anyway, you know already you are an encroacher. Why can't you cooperate if there is already that way?
But there are issues with the boundary actually, especially here in Gisu. There are issues the national park and people living near the national park. We've had those issues right away from 1990s up to the issue of the boundary have never been solved. How are you handling that? Well, because it makes. I don't have to say it makes no sense, but there is a way it appears when government and those people are still negotiating. I think there are even cases between people living near the forest and the government over the boundary. So I'm imagining a scenario where you declare someone an encroacher who is also having issues over actually the boundary is not all that clear. Which one are you using to declare people encroachers and things like that?
The boundary from the start has always been clear. The Parliament of Uganda was very clear on the gazettement instrument, which is accessible. It has a plan, what we call a boundary plan. The difference here is that it is being contested. Some communities feel that some land belongs to them, and a number of them have gone to court. We also have standing injunctions. Where we have injunctions, where I court...
The recent one is of 2015.
Or maybe you want to mention the Namisindwa Land Owners Association. Where I'm pretty sure that they have really been battling this in court. And they secured a court injunction. And as long as the court injunction is there, by the way, for those who don't register them, it's those ones who have gone beyond the contested land.
Yes,
it's those who have gone beyond the land that is under injunction.
Okay.
It's those that have gone beyond the land where we have temporarily settled people. For example, in Quen,
yes,
80% of the land of the park where communities are settling, they were settled there by the government.
Okay.
And those ones who have not registered them. We are registering those ones who have gone over and above where we expect them to be, or whose case is still in court but has not secured an injunction.
Okay, thank you. You've ably explained. I want to get roughly 5 callers because we have to sign up. We have another talk show coming up at exactly 8. So I want us to see how to wrap up our discussion. Iwohole sebula fyo msale wanyirangu irukosi Amanya nyesi none mu studio. Era wagezera ko hubanga nyumira kula ipaka itiro mutsi yabagana ni bye sisari. Ilo mo iyo kusaula bibyo ahalo mali bada saula bibyo byowo kasitaba kola kwalo bakuboneka bana bisaula yo amakulosera kubanga asulumati wasikana kanika mani paka bana saula bibyo nga omwene walubire kuboneka bali fune balo yero C1 ngabetse mukunda wimehemo ishi etsiringi amakulosera kubanga alomari atsokolekera tsinama gesako bengo omulopera ubonore susa sura siringi ne omwene tawe then ulobe kuza sura ne banyire singa bali mire bibyo awunyese kama yakanirosera kubanga niketsera yabusa ni ali kubanga alomari atsakoleka tsinamba tsewe unirosera kubanga mutawulira buli mundu kane hani naye isoko sano kuyo kubona ndi imurera inyumanya lisa kubona ndi mukane ha ni naye chesi namahorosera kubanga imurera besi ni issue yerwaha era ni amolo ma restufu waliwo babatse mukoti abasirosera kubanga nibelega ni government na rinyo umwatsa beyond bali rwahalwesi mulomanira horo awuniye zulobuzo kubanga ofunira kamaya inakani efule roughly 4 people because waliwo tokusheke niko kubanga ni 30 nienda fursa onyalise kubanga ni koleka na noti musanvu tine ndwera noti ndwera obata noti musanvu tirano indwera tsisesa musanvu tine tsesaba Elgon respond to them in 3 minutes because I have another big talk show coming up, so we really have to sign out. Ivan from Masobo was appreciating, but he also complained the issue of that the ongoing operation, that for you not being honest, because your field officers are asking money from them. If you don't pay money, they are cutting crops. I think is in Sronk or not Bulamburi. So Yunus is a chairperson of C1 in Bududa. He's for him he had 3 concerns. One, he also says you're not being honest. That first of all you didn't involve local leaders, especially those in the those living near the national park. That it would have been wise for you to involve them. So he says that are you going to pay damages for the crops you're cutting? That because you're even cutting mature trees. So you really have to pay for them. Then Wahonya was supporting the ongoing operation that people should leave land for national park. But for him, he's in a safer place. He's in Ruakaka. Then Sawa Ronald is also among the people affected. He says that you're not also being honest because for him, he lives near people, near your field officers. He also confirms that they ask people. They ask money from people, so he calls upon you to intervene. Help me in 3 minutes, respond to that, we sign out.
Thank you for giving these comments, our dear listeners. Although I have very little time,
but we shall come back. This is just the start.
Give them my number.
Please, you first read it.
0703 044 622. Did I repeat?
Yes. 0703
044 622. If anybody,
you give them the MTN number also. You give them the MTN number. Because they have so many concerns, they have to ask you. You're the boss.
My MTN number is 0781 483 468.
Okay.
I will be ready to help you even give you the money to go to pay, such that we can grab those.
We have to arrest those corrupt field officers.
Please cooperate. I'm not there in the field. Sometimes you don't know what happens there.
Okay.
But we need to cooperate in order to get anybody who is asking money.
Thank you very much.
So I appreciate that they are giving that information,
yes.
But let's go a step higher to get those corrupt officers.
Thank you.
Now, involving of leaders. That was
local
leaders.
Yes.
Yes, we have hundreds and hundreds of LC1.
Yes, across the 8
districts. Unfortunately, because of financial resources and time, you may not reach everywhere.
Good.
I said on the 6th of December, we invited top leaders, 5 per district.
Chairperson LC5, RDC,
DISO, DPC, and Chairperson LC5, DISO, RDC, CID.
CID, yes.
Yes, the 5th person. Okay, I think the deputy RDCs were also there.
Yes.
Now, the intention was, we know when any matter arises, the leaders, the communities will run to these offices.
Yes.
And they should be able to explain. But
so
also
the leaders would have communicated to the lower leaders.
In most places they did.
Yes.
But maybe they didn't have resources to organize big barazas.
True.
But in some areas we have gone there ourselves. I'm here on the radio. Now, if we've not gone to Blamburi, we've not gone to Namsimba, they have heard. We do our best to involve and inform leaders.
Thank you, Father.
And we continue to do that.
Thank you, Father Amanya.
Yes.
I think you've answered most of the concerns. Help me your parting shots. We have to leave this studio.
We will continue to conserve with the people of Uganda. We are compelled by law and policy. We shall not conserve alone. We appreciate all the support the communities have already given us. Regarding this current exercise, we only want to have an agreement with you on how you can live, survive, have livelihood without committing a crime. That's the intention. Let's have an agreement with you. Come and register. Let's know who is there.
Yes.
After we've known each other, we shall plan together on what to do next.
Thank you.
But if you don't comply and you continue your ways, you want to remain hidden, you want to remain a criminal, the law will take its course.
The keyword is compliance.
The keyword is comply.
Thank you very much. Imbere yafande Amanya Samuel abirenga kana katilo mutsingali era gatsinda itonyere busa kwabire benga bindi wakwere mbuka kwakane hinaye era kusimba lokaleka kobusa please ibirambire byose rose nakoma kana haninaye kunoti musamvu noti titaro noti tsine tsisesa batsi kupatsimo paka saa tsenga ane rose nakoma nda kuiramo anyerese kubona ande asarenga all your concerns MTN kunoti musamvu sinane ndwera tsine sinane titaro tsine tsisesa ba sinane uyunkosi afande Amanya Samuel nganyorangirira Mount Elgon conservation area ili mobifo bikali byesirosika kubanga akubalira kunyowa please when we talk shake ni kubanga nita you've already finished right.
Thank you.
I also sign